well. The settings need to be correct, right? You know, you don't want to
Even
turn too
for
fast when you're.
Okay. Right. So, welcome back to the League of Legends season here for Trine campus, or Trine University. What? Yeah. Yeah. I haven't clicked it yet. Oh, right. So,
Gotcha, it's captured.
I already did this.
Good, Streamlabs. Aid. I don't know which one it is. It's probably that one. My assumption.
They're using the draft tool, so I need to show that.
Yeah, basically we just want to share screen instead of...
Oh,
no,
duh.
you don't want to share screen. Set it up so...
I think it's this one.
Yeah. If you share a screen, if you had anything... A lot of times you have addresses, things like that. Background, you don't want to do that. So,
I'm not...
if you're streaming, try and like make sure you're streaming to individual screens or anything, or individual windows, because otherwise that can turn bad.
Where is it? It's just not showing up at all.
That's okay.
The window capture.
So, did you create a new one? No, okay.
This is the one that's supposed to do that. Browser source. Because the drafting tool pops up on. I can't use a URL. Window capture. Got it. New source. Okay. There we go. I'll just delete that one. And that one. Great.
So then just remember to switch back.
Yeah.
Actually, what we do is you'll just
Now that we've gotten that figured out, here is the draft tool for the Trine University versus Anderson game. Sort of just missed the first half of the draft, but we will catch up. On Trine's first 3 bans, they picked what appears to be 3 junglers. I wonder if that means they're worried about Anderson's jungler. We'll have to wait and see. On Anderson's side, we have a wider variety of bans, and they missed one. So we should be getting a message here in a second about what that was supposed to be. Okay, that is Ornn. It is a Ornn ban there. Trine first picking the Amumu. I know he's very good right now with the recent changes, giving him more and better crowd control options. And there's something to be said for Trine picking jungle first. It's definitely a very confident move on the part of the Trine University jungler, opening himself up to being counterpicked a little bit. We'll have to see how that turns out. On the Anderson side, we have a first pick of Seraphine. She can go in 3 different roles, so that doesn't give us a ton of information about what their strategy might be. And Morgana, where I'm thinking one of them will be in the mid lane and the other one will be a support. But we'll have to wait and see. It could be Seraphine and Morgana in the bottom lane together. We have Trine and Anderson both taking all of their available time to discuss their options. And we have a Vayne. It could be top lane, or it could be for the bottom lane, which is kind of strange, as I know they don't like to pick out. Never mind, I will eat my words. That is going to be Vayne and Lulu together in the bottom lane. It's a departure, a little bit. Trine does not generally take their bottom laners so soon, especially before their opponents have. But I suppose this game they're just going to try to use their synergy to make it work. We have an Evelynn pick as well on Anderson's side. That must be the jungler. Still not entirely sure where the Seraphine or the Morgana are going, but we have time to figure that out. Then we have the Gnar ban. That's a little strange. Well, I suppose not. Trine's top laner hasn't picked yet, so they could be focusing on that. I would expect the next ban to be a mid laner, because the Trine University mid laner has not yet picked. And Trine is going to miss a ban. We will see in a moment what that was supposed to be. And I think that's supposed to be a Camille ban. So definitely fighting over top lane here a little bit. For reference, in addition to the 2 that have been banned, or to the bans that have taken place, the blue square is supposed to be Camille, and the red square is supposed to be Ornn. We have another top laner ban from Anderson. So perhaps they just don't care about Trine getting their choice of mid laners? The final Trine ban looks like it's going to be a Xerath. He's not fantastic in the meta right now. I guess that means in scouting they figured out that Anderson's mid laner likes to play with that champion. Again, both teams using as much of their time as they can. Guess you can call it more efficient. We have the set pick for the top lane. Generally strong, especially when you don't know what you're going into. Then the Fiora ban, or the Fiora pick for Trine, also for the top lane. I'm not sure how that matchup generally goes, but I think it relies on how well both players play it, so that will definitely be interesting to watch. And then we have the Victor pick for mid for Trine. In a moment here, we'll have both the teams fully decided. All that's left would be to actually draft it in the League of Legends client. And it looks like that's a Yone pick for the mid lane. Okay, so it's going to be Seraphine and Morgana in the bottom lane, Evelynn in the jungle, Set in the top lane, and Yone in the middle lane. And then for Trine, we have Amumu in the jungle, Vayne and Lulu in the bottom lane, Fiora in the top lane, and Victor in the mid lane. Alright, let's switch to the client here. Looks like they're both ready. They're going to start doing the draft. For anyone who's not familiar, since they use the draft beforehand, they know what both teams are going to be playing and what both teams are going to be banning. So, as long as neither team bans something their team or anyone's going to play, they can pretty much ban whoever they want because the picks have already been decided. And it looks like we're mostly correct. Again, if you're not familiar in the drafting tool, they pick in the order to reveal the information they want to reveal and hide the information they want to hide. And then in the client, they pick according to what they're actually going to be playing. So it's going to be Fiora and Set in the top lane as expected, Mumu and Evelynn in the jungle, Victor and Yone in the mid lane, and it just should be the same for four people.
Coward, may you die with your eyes closed.
Considering, right, we'll have to see how they decide to play it, or how Anderson decides to play it in the bottom lane. See who buys a support item and who ends up taking all the farm. Maybe they'll split it. It's hard to predict. Okay, so starting from this moment, they will have another 45 seconds to set up runes, ward skins, all that. Right, thanks. And then, following that, we will have another 3 minutes as we wait for the spectator delay to take effect. And while we wait, I normally talk about how I expect the matchup is going to go from both sides. Although, right now, I'm not really sure. We have a long wait ahead of us, and all I can really say is that it's definitely going to be interesting to watch. Victor against Yone, I think, is about who can dodge more of the other's abilities. As in the top lane, it's about mechanical skill. Or if they just both decide to farm, I guess we'll see who scales stronger into the late game. In the jungle, I think Evelynn is a little bit of a slower pick than Amumu, especially in the current patch. I think we might see Amumu ganking early and often, while Evelyn sort of has to wait until, if not level 6, at least level 4, 3 or 4. And then in the bottom lane, that's a non-standard pick for Anderson. So it's definitely unpredictable. We'll have to see what ends up happening. Alright. We have got another minute and 30 seconds on the spectator delay. It's interesting that neither team picked any of the recent champions, such as like Gwen or Viego, or even Akshan, that are all sort of perennially strong. I believe Vex is banned for the current games for a couple weeks, because within 2 weeks of a champion's release, they're not supposed to be played to give time for people to learn how to play with and against them. So that's why that one is absent. Although I know Trine's team has been practicing a couple of these more recent champions, so we'll have to see if going into game 2 they might make different choices about their draft. But again, that depends on how well this first game goes. For Trine University, I believe only their mid laner has changed from last year, which would be Fax No Printer in for oh, I don't even remember his name. But the rest of their team is similar to what they had last year. I know Harv was on a little bit of a hiatus there for the second semester, but it looks like he's back. He might be back for good. Okay. So, important to note, both mid laners took Ignite. They're going to be playing a little more aggressive. In the top lane, only Trine took Ignite, while Set took Teleport. That implies that Fiora, or Barrel Rider rather, is going to try to play aggressive early, get an advantage over Set. And then in the bottom lane, Harv took Cleanse against a lane with 2 roots. Definitely not a bad plan. We'll have to wait and see if it's more impactful than heal, which is sort of the standard. Everything looks pretty much normal at the moment. It looks like it's going to be Morgana supporting and Seraphine taking farm and trying to carry, judging by these starting items. In the mid lane, Yone picked a defensive start. Probably not a bad idea against somebody who pokes as consistently and as well as Victor does. And then we're seeing some pinging in the chat here from Anderson. And the delay has... Never mind. I was worried for a moment this game was not capturing. Amumu took the damaging Smite variant, whereas Evelyn is going for the crowd control Smite variant. It makes sense if you look at what each champion needs more of. And then in the top lane, we're having an immediate fight between Barrel Rider and AU Dolph. And it looks like neither player is going to die, but they both get very close. We'll have to see if that happens again in the future. Looks like Set's going to back immediately, or attempt to. In the rest of the lanes, we're sort of having the limited action you expect of an early game here. Or, in the bottom lane, we will just see a kill immediately after I finish talking about how we're just sort of a holding pattern. Definitely a strong play by Trine. The double mage in the bot lane definitely doesn't have the early power that a Vayne with press the attack can have. Although, we'll have to see if Trine can keep it up. It looks like we might have a bit of a confrontation in the river here between Amumu and Evelyn. They're seeing some pings on the map, but doesn't look like it's going to turn into a fight at all. Middle lane still just going back and forth, throwing abilities. Now we're getting into some action here. The long range hook from Amumu and the flash in. We might be seeing another kill here for Trine. Yep. And maybe a third one? Okay, that is 2 kills for Trine's top lane Barrel Rider, leading to a 3-0 lead for Trine in the first 3 minutes of the game. Definitely not something you want to see if you're a fan of Anderson. But there's plenty of time to come back. We'll be seeing some action around Dragon here when it comes up. Or yes, it looks like we're going to have a proper 4v4 when Dragon spawns. Both teams are sort of hovering around it. Or maybe they were just hovering for the Scuttle Crab, which, while a lesser objective, is still worth a lot of golden experience, especially early. That is another kill for Trine. That is the second kill of Harv. And in the top lane we're seeing yet another fight. That Barrel Rider proving that he is definitely ahead of AU Dolph at this point. We're going to have to wait and see how he manages to get himself back into the game. Definitely a close fight there for Trine. Playing a little bit risky maybe in the top lane because of how ahead they perceive themselves to be. And with Evelyn coming, we'll have to see. Doesn't look like it's going to resolve in anything. Alright, kind of a... We're back to the standard early game. It looks like Set is trying to taunt Fiora into attacking, possibly to get an easy kill with Evelyn up there. Doesn't look like Barrel Rider is going to fall for it. Trine is up around 3.2 thousand gold across the entire team. Definitely bad for Anderson. But again, it's early enough that that goal difference might not cause too many problems. Yone taking advantage of the healing plants to get back some of the life he lost from Victor's consistent poke. And then the bottom lane, we're seeing some aggression from Anderson here, with Lulu all the way over there. Nope. Never mind. I was going to say Harv might be in a little bit of danger, but it appears he is not. And then mid lane again. Both just farming. Very close lane. No kills on either side. Not really any concrete advantage there. Victor being 10 CS up. He's around 160 gold. That's not too much. And we'll see another kill in the bottom lane by Harv, and then in the top lane we'll see another fight between Fiora and Set. And that is another kill for Barrel Rider, followed quickly by a kill for Hoggy in the bottom lane on Morgana. This is definitely getting worse for Anderson at this point, Trine with the 7-0 lead, around pretty close to 5,000 gold ahead as a team. Definitely still time to come back. We are only 8 minutes in. Any number of things could happen. We have to see who ends up getting the dragons, I believe, right now. It looks like Trine has the first dragon. That will give them around 6% bonus armor and magic resist, if I'm remembering that properly. Not the most impactful. Definitely an advantage, although it really will only impact Amumu later on in the game. Early, a little bit of extra defenses. Can't hurt. In the mid lane, we're seeing a little bit of a fight here. And that was a trade that Yone definitely lost, unfortunately for Anderson. At the moment, oh, seems like we're getting a fight here in the top lane between Fiora against Evelyn and Set. Hoggy coming in to clean up the kill on the Evelyn, and then it looks like they're going to get a kill on the Set as well. That leaves 3 of Trine's team members at 3-0, 10 minutes into the game, with a 6,000 gold lead overall. I would imagine Anderson is beginning to think about what they might do differently next game, as we see Harv in the bottom lane getting 1 kill with his support Magic Griffin picking up another one. We have Yone getting the first kill for Anderson on this game on Victor. It looked like that was a one-on-one. He's definitely going to be, Yone is definitely going to be their path to victory at this moment, because the rest of the team kind of just need to focus on getting back into it. Or we will have Set killed walking to lane. And just extra gold for Barrel Rider here. It doesn't seem like that tower is going to be long for this world. Again, the middle lane definitely still the most competitive lane. We have a 12 CS lead on Trine's side, with a kill going to Anderson, leaving them pretty close to even. Although it looks like Evelyn is looking to change that, probably ganking mid lane in the middle in a moment. The top tower did fall to the combination of Rift Herald and Fiora, leading to Trine getting the first tower of the game, and sitting at around a 9,000 gold lead. Alright. Well, if Anderson does manage to kill Fiora, Amumu, or even Vayne, they will get a big bounty for each. Could help them get back into the game. We have a fight going on in the top lane between Victor, Set, and Evelyn. It looks like, yes, Anderson picking up their second kill of the game. This also on to Victor. Going to their Evelyn, who might also be a very strong asset for Anderson should this game go longer. We have the flash coming out from Morgana, followed quickly by her death. Actually, that is 2 kills for Trine again. One to Magic Griffin and one to Hagi. And a dragon to Trine as well. And we have Fiora pulling the same move of killing someone as they're walking the lane. It's not, doesn't seem to be going as well this time, or it will go exactly the same way. Trine has broken the 10,000 gold lead mark at 13 minutes into the game. It's kind of rough for Anderson here. We're going into the second game. They're probably going to draft a little differently. Perhaps ban the Vayne or the Amumu. Or pick a little less aggressive champions and more defensive late game scaling champions. It is currently 17-2, with Trine having taken 2 dragons and 2 towers. With their respective bottom laners, Harv being around 80 CS ahead of eaten by spiders. But the mid lane, still, they're basically at the same place right now. Yone closing the CS gap makes his kill matter all the more. Every other lane is kind of needs to focus on scaling at this moment. We have Trine members taking the jungle, giving buffs to the people who need them, followed by a kill in the middle lane for Harv. That is his 7th kill. And an additional kill for Haugi, that is his 5th kill. With Evelyn dying to Harv too. The mid lane gap closing. And a 3rd tower being taken in the middle lane. We might be seeing a little bit of a quick game 1 here. We're hearing some shouting in the background from Trine's top laner. I apologize if that's coming through on the mic. That is the 5th tower taken by Trine, expanding their gold lead to around 16,000 at 15 minutes into the game. Definitely an unfortunate position to be in for Anderson here. Their strategy will need to change going into the second game. That is without a doubt. We'll have to see what they can pull together. And we'll have to see if Trine decides to keep their bans the same, or if they feel threatened by anything that Anderson has pulled out here today. Perhaps the Yone. And we're having some more fighting here. Not a ton to say about that. Anderson definitely trying their best, but trying to sort of have an overwhelming lead at this point. There is not much left to do except end it. Going into game 2. I keep going back to this, but they're gonna have to change how they draft. They're going to have to change their overall strategy, figure out what exactly is going wrong right now to cause a nearly 20,000 gold disparity at 17 minutes into the game. We have Trine's jungler, Haugi, getting a solo kill onto Anderson's support, a Pixel, followed quickly by another kill by the Victor onto the It looks like rather than pushing though, Trine might be getting a little bit greedy, trying to get extra kills. It did work there, although in the future it could come back to bite them. Might lead to a comeback here by Anderson. Or not. The Rift Herald kind of seals it for the moment. The excessive kill on everyone there, leading to the end of the game. Definitely a good game one showing from Trine. Not so great from Anderson. They'll have to throw off that negative energy going into game two, and get back a little bit of their mental state to play as well as they can. While we wait here for a moment for the next lobby to be created. Or rather, for me to be invited to the next lobby. Not a ton of reflection needed on Trine's side here. Whatever they did, it worked. So they just gotta focus on doing similar things. Again. And as we're in the lobby, you can see people's ranks, which, as I'm sure our audience knows, the ranking system goes iron, then bronze, then silver, then gold, then platinum, then diamond, and then master, and then challenger. And looking at the rank disparity here, I am beginning to figure out what might have gone wrong for Anderson there. Perhaps punching a little bit above their weight class at the moment. Trine having 3 diamond players and 2 platinums. Wait a minute. Oh. It looks like Trine is making a switch from their previous mid laner to KB top. So yeah, that will be 3 diamond players and 2 platinum players versus 2 gold players, 2 silver players, and a bronze player. It's definitely an uphill battle for Anderson. We will have to see how this next game goes. They are taking a short restroom break at the moment. So we will, I suppose, just have to wait. What's interesting is, when switching out Fax No Printer, which was their mid laner for KB top, they have decided to move their top laner into the middle lane and put KB top into their top lane. A little bit of back and forth banter in the chat here. should be ready to go in a moment. And one moment, we're having a little bit of a technical issue here. There we go. Here we are for the pro draft for Game 2 of Trine versus Anderson. It looks like Trine kept the same two first bans and then decided to ban a Mumu, with Anderson going for the bold strategy of banning everything Trine played last game. We have a first pick Jin from Anderson. That is a departure from their previous strategy, as they didn't have a normal AD carry last game. They instead electing for 2 mages. That's definitely a shift in strategy. Trine going for Ashe and Seraphine, a powerful combination, as Ashe's slows can turn Seraphine's slow into a immediate root. I believe that's going to be their bot lane, with both champions working together. Although, again, Seraphine can go mid lane as well. And it appears like I am frozen. Okay, there we go. Anderson picking Maokai and Xerath, the Xerath which was banned last game. Very interesting. We'll have to see if Trine choosing to change their bans will come back to bite them. Maokai, I would assume, is the tankier top laner, more late game scaling than aggressive. And then the Volibear pick for Trine. I believe that's going to be jungle. Sort of a standard, stronger pick. And then Trine banning Jarvan 4, Anderson banning Aurelia. Both fighting over, I believe Anderson has yet to pick their jungler and support, where Trine has yet to pick their mid laner and top laner. So we see 2 junglers banned by Trine, and in a moment here the final ban from Anderson will be Set, the Set which they picked last game. Definitely a strange draft phase. They did not ban either the Victor or the Amumu. Or well, I suppose Trine banned the Amumu from last game. Trine picking the Yone, which Anderson did play last game. We'll have to see how Anderson responds. They respond with a Viego. Definitely a stronger pick. Stronger champion at the moment. A lot of self-heal, poke, with the lack of mana costs is definitely a good combination. And then we have the support picking. That will be an Urgot. What? Wait a minute. Either Maokai is the support, or one of Maokai or Urgot are the mid laner, and Xerath is the support, or I have absolutely no idea what Anderson's strategy might be. Again. Well, if you can say one thing, Anderson has been surprising these past 2 games. And Trine making their final pick, the Aatrox. We should be able to switch to the client here in a second. We have Trine reorganizing themselves into the proper game order. I suppose they aren't going to be having KB top in the top lane. And both teams are ready, so here in a moment we will have the draft take place all over again. Except much faster, and probably with different bans. In case there's anyone who did not watch the first game, that is because in the pro draft tool they have already predicted both teams' picks, so they can change their bans to whatever they want without changing the outcome, so long as they don't ban anything that people are actually going to pick.
I'm going to remember this.
And Anderson has just banned one of Trine's picks. And then canceled the lobby. So we have a moment here while they address that issue. Now we should have the draft again. Probably with more careful drafts, more careful bans. Or the client will crash. I don't understand what's happening. Okay. So they're electing to go with the no ban? So that they don't end up accidentally banning.
Let me get in there.
Okay, or they will just ban other completely unrelated champions.
Good to know.
Trine electing to go down the list of the first champions in the line. They might end up accidentally clicking Ashe here, which is one of their picks. That would be unfortunate. Then we'd have to go through all this whole process again. Alright, so as far as matchups go, in the top lane, we have a ranged champion against Aatrox. Definitely a skill-based matchup where anyone can win if they pilot their champion better than the other one. In the jungle, I think Volibear is a faster pick than Viego. Probably going to be coming out around level 2 or 3, whereas Viego would like to wait until between 3 and 6. Then in the mid lane, Xerath versus Yone. Probably a repeat of what happened last game, where Xerath pokes Yone out but never manages to get a kill, while Yone continuously tries for kills that never succeed. So it just comes down to sort of a farm difference. In the bottom lane, we have Jin and Maokai against Ashe and Seraphine. The Maokai support pick definitely very strong with Jin. They can combine their abilities fairly well, although Ashe and Seraphine can too. Okay, in 20 seconds, we will begin the 3-minute timer for the spectator delay, which will just be, I guess, talking about the lanes, although I sort of already ran through my thoughts, and talking about nothing. So I'm going to take this time to go get some water, and I will return soon. I would expect you all to take any breaks you might need to right now as well, because you definitely have time. Alright, we should get started in the game here in just a couple more seconds. We'll have to see if Anderson's going to pull off a comeback, or if we never even make it to Game 3. They're definitely playing from behind right now, but let's hope that they keep a positive mindset to lead them back to victory. On Trine's end, the team seems very excited at the moment. I would imagine it's because they won the first game, and they are in high spirits going into game number 2. We'll have to see how long that keeps up. Okay, well, it looks like Trine is calling for an immediate invade into the opposing jungle, as all those pinging, or all that pinging would tell us. For starting items, everybody went sort of the standard for their position, for their champion. And it looks like Trine is going to pick up an early kill. Sort of a cheesy get there. That leaves Atrox at 400 gold, or additional gold, which this early in the game can mean a lot of things. We'll have to see what he ends up spending it on here. just 400 extra health. Definitely a choice. It looks like Anderson's jungle decided to lay down a ward back and switch to the red trinket as fast as possible to help keep Trine University off of their vision.
Dropping the proverbial mic. KDA talk.
It looks like Anderson might not be sure that they're alone in the jungle anymore, although Trine are leashing their blue buff at the moment. So we have both teams sort of playing a normal early game at this point. Although interesting to see in the mid lane that they're both pretty much at equal farm, despite one of them having sort of poking abilities. Then in the bottom lane we have a little bit of action, a trade that Jin is not happy to take. Followed by a trade in the top lane that Argit would probably not have wanted. Trine University getting the early level 2 in the bottom lane. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to turn that into a kill, but still an advantage nonetheless. In the mid lane, we have Anderson taking, or N Shram taking a lot of damage early. He might have to back off soon, though it looks like he's not recalling yet. And Trine University's top lane playing all the way up, all the time. He's open to being ganked by Viego. We'll have to see if that turns into something, or no, it looks like Yone is trying to fight Viego for his blue buff. It looks like Viego got it. Now they're just sort of on even footing. Until Volibear gets there, and Viego has to run away quickly. Trine in the bottom lane, having taken an early tower plate, gives them a little bit of an advantage. Although it's better that than one or both of Anderson's bottom laners dying. And in the middle lane, as predicted, Yone's getting poked out a tiny bit. And it looks like the Anderson's top laner has decided to push up a little bit in the top lane rather than staying pushed into his tower. Yep, he's trying to get it back off to spend some of his gold. We have a gank by Anderson on Trine in the bottom lane, and it does turn into a kill for Maokai, although it turns into 2 kills for Trine, one on the jungler and one on the ADC. And it looks like Volibear is staying around to see if Jin maybe steps up a little bit too far forwards. Doesn't look like he's going to. So 3-1. It's better than Anderson was doing last game at this time. So they've improved. It's not as much as you would want, but progress is progress. And in the top lane, we're having a lot less action than last game. In the mid lane, we're having maybe a little more. So at the moment, Viego is around the bottom lane. We might see a quick dragon here. Possibly. Or we might not. It's kind of hard for Viego to get any ganks in at the moment, as none of Trine's team are pushed up. And in fact, we might see a kill here for Trine. Yes. That is Harv's second kill of the game. In the middle lane, we might see a tower dive here. Looks like we are. It's going to turn into a kill on Enshram. And Volibear might get killed in return here. The very small miss on the Yone ultimate might turn into 2 kills for Viego. And it looks like it will. Yes. That is 3-5. Anderson doing a much better job of keeping in the game at this moment than they did last game. Especially with their top laner not having been killed yet at all. And in fact, their jungler winning in comparison. Speaking honestly, I want to root for the underdog in this situation, which is definitely Anderson. But at the same time, if Trine were to win, this would not go to a game 3. It would just end on the spot, which definitely has its own benefits. And I suppose I am a representative of Trine as well. So maybe I should just say I want Trine to win. Although Trine at the moment taking a strange fight, junglers and mid laners. It looks like that is going to be a kill on the Viego, followed by a kill on the ADC in a completely unrelated fight, and also a kill in the top lane in the third different fight. And Trine going for the aggressive play here in the jungle still. That is going to be 5 kills for Trine in around a minute, which is definitely very unfortunate for Anderson. And then Viego having his red buff stolen as well. That's going to be a problem. Now let's see another fight here in the top lane, one that Barrel Rider is not positioned very well to win. And it looks like, yes, that will be a kill for Urgot. Claiming a 250 gold bounty. Leaving the score for the moment at 4-10. The advantage for Trine. And around a 5,000 gold lead for Trine. Mid lane here, we might see some action. Or just a stopped back. Barrel Rider has finished his mythic item. I believe that's the first one of the game. So that leaves him definitely with an advantage over Anderson's top laner. Although, how much we have yet to see, as he does have 2 of the strongest armor items to have early. We might have Barrel Rider struggle to do damage to him. Especially with Viego there in the top lane, and we'll be seeing some action in a moment with a fight between Atrox and both Dolph and Johnny. Dolph being their top laner and Johnny jungler. We see a fight in the mid lane that ends with nobody dying, but both of them very low. And in the top lane, that predicted gank is coming to pass. It's not going to turn into anything, unfortunately. They do manage to get out Barrel Rider's ultimate, which does give them a little bit of an advantage. And in the bottom lane, Harv is going to get yet another kill. And we're having a good old-fashioned 2v2 up here in the top lane. It looks like Anderson is going to end up with 1 down. And the flash coming out from the Viego, and we have a freeze for a moment, followed quickly by a second kill for Trine. and what looks like it's going to be the first tower as well for Trine. Leaving the game at 4 and 13, the advantage for Trine, with around a coming up on a 10,000 gold lead. We're seeing the constant Ash arrows coming mid lane. Enshram so far being able to dodge all of them. Hopefully he manages to keep that up, because one of those hits is pretty much a death sentence for him. And we see the quick kill in the top lane by Dolph on Barrel Rider. Followed by a fight in the middle lane that leaves Xerath needing to back desperately. Anderson are definitely still in this at the moment. The Rift Herald dropping down mid lane when they don't have their mid laner there to defend it is kind of unfortunate for Anderson, but shouldn't turn into a second tower. Maybe just some tower damage. Or it will turn into a second tower. That is a kill for Harv. Quickly followed by some big damage onto Harv. Unfortunately not enough to kill. Leading to 3 kills for Harv. And Trine very low health. He is now 7-0 with a 60 gold lead, or 60 CS lead, with the total team lead being around 12,000 gold and 11 kills. It's an unfortunate position to be in for Anderson again. As long as they manage to farm up, they could still be in the game if they manage to outplay Trine, if Trine maybe gets a little overconfident. Or Xerath lands a strong stun onto Harv. Definitely going to be very hard to come back though. We have a quick assassination on the Eaten by spiders. Followed by, as well, taking the dragon and leaving Viego within an inch of his life. Which, it looks like Harv is coming to claim. Yeah. Alright. Try and definitely focus on vision this game. They have a ton of wards down everywhere. Anderson trying to as well, although a lot of their wards are being removed by Trine. As we get closer and closer to, as Trine gets closer and closer to Anderson's base here, it gets harder and harder for them to attack Anderson under their towers. Or at least successfully. Yep, and as predicted, Harv maybe being a little bit overconfident, leading to 3 players down for Trine at the moment. KB top trying to win back a little bit in this fight. That is the ace for Anderson. 5 kills, mostly onto Urgot and Viego, who can use it, or who can use that gold very effectively. Game definitely looking a little more hopeful for Anderson than it did a minute ago. We'll have to see if they manage to repeat that performance. We have the second Rift Herald spawning in 1 minute and 14 seconds. Oh, and that is the long-range Ash Arrow onto Zira. Carve working to bring that bounty back up. That was just claimed. I believe it was 700 gold, the maximum. That could be a 3v4 here in the middle lane. Or a 4v4. Okay. It looks like Anderson Trine coming back with a vengeance after that fight. Went oh so poorly for them. We have 15 seconds until Anderson's whole team is alive again. 5, and then they might be able to make a team fight here. We're seeing the long-range ultimates coming out. Try to poke down Trine in preparation for this fight. Maokai ultimate hitting 2 members of Trine's team. Complete chaos of the moment here. Although Anderson is going to end up on the wrong end of the angry Ash. Probably leading to the end of the game here in a moment. I do not know why we're frozen. That's not good. Let's see if we can jump back a little bit. Oh. Our internet is failing. Is the stream still on? Okay. That's unfortunate. I can verify that Trine did end the game at that point. I can't figure out... I don't know how to fix this. It looks like League of Legends has crashed entirely, which is always how you want your streams to end. Well, once again, thank you for tuning in to Trine University versus Anderson. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'm very sorry I couldn't show you the end result, but we will have to resolve that in the future.